Oh, hey there. Are you looking for brand clarity? So many of the entrepreneurs that I talk to say things like, I just need to know exactly what my brand stands for. Or I can tell that something feels off, but I'm not exactly sure what it is. Or I don't know what to post on socials, or I don't know what my brand stories are because I don't have a clear overarching message. All of these are incredibly common comments that I hear from entrepreneurs like you, whether you're just getting started in business or you've been in business for several years and you're just getting a sense that something isn't working the way that it should. Because the thing is, your brand strategy exists underneath everything else that you're doing. So if you're feeling a lot of resistance or stuckness or spinning in circles when it comes to marketing, social media marketing, all of the marketing, or even with the way that you talk to your clients, say on sales calls or in webinars, or however you're selling to them, a lot of that can be traced back to a lack of clarity. My name is Kaye Putnam. I'm the psychology-driven brand strategist, and I have worked with hundreds, many hundreds of brands in all stages of business, all who were seeking this brand clarity that had evaded them up to this point. Or maybe they had it at some point, but they're finding themselves in a new situation, so they're not feeling as clear as they once did. And in this video, I am really excited because I am going to be giving you an overview of my clarity code process. This is a framework that I have been developing over the last decade, and it keeps getting better and better. I've been able to test different pieces of it with my students and my clients, from people who are just getting started to seven-figure entrepreneurs, and really perfect this process of building psychology-driven brands. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the Clarity Code strategic framework is built up of 4 main pieces and then 1 bridge piece at the end to move into the implementation phase. The first part of the Clarity Code framework may come as a surprise because it's not actually really related to business. It's more related to the human that is driving the business, or in some cases, the humans that are driving the business forward. And this is the concept that I call energetic influence. Because the thing is, you can't outpace your energy. If you, as the visionary, as the face of the business in some cases, as the person who is responsible for its success, if you don't have the energetic capacity to both attract people to you as a leader and to get the work done that needs to be done, you're going to find that your brand building falls flat, right? So I have a framework called the ETA framework that every successful entrepreneur pays attention to, whether they're conscious of it or not. So ETA, estimated time of arrival, I think is fitting because these 3 things will determine how fast you get to your goals. The first one is energy, like we said. So what is your life force? What is your capacity to create the results that you want to create? And have you ever noticed that when you're around certain people, they just act like a magnet for other humans? This is often because they have this energy just dialed in perfectly, and people want to be around them because they want some of that drive, that zest, that optimism, that charisma that certain people express. So first step is getting that straight. Second is more traditional time management. So those of us who are parents, who have small children at home, we have very different time constraints and time situations than somebody who is single and living by themselves and has full reign over their entire schedule, right? So there are time considerations to take into account as well. And then the final is attention. So even those of us that have all of the time in the day And maybe you have lots of energy as well because you're taking care of your body, you're taking care of your mind, your spirit, your soul, whatever is resonant for you. Even if you have that straight, even if you have your time set up straight, if you aren't mindful of how you expend your attention, you are going to struggle, right? We have to pay attention to the things that actually matter in our business, in our life, to see the kinds of results that we want. So that's at the basis of the energetic influence stage of the Clarity Code process. Second is your innate advantage. I am a staunch believer that we all need to be better at being ourselves if we want to grow incredible brands. Again, this works if you are a massive billion-dollar brand that is driven by thousands and thousands of people. There's still a brand character to be developed that has its own strengths, has its own weaknesses, personality when you're doing it correctly. And then for the smaller businesses that I more often work with, your innate advantages are more often born from a single founder or a visionary or the CEO of the brand and the business. So no matter which lens that you're looking at it through, you have to uncover what makes you magical. What is special about you? What is baked into your DNA that you are amazing at doing? What makes your personality or skills or story stand out in the market? This is the most important section, but they all build on each other, right? So you have to have the energy, you have to know what your innate advantages are, and you have to have the other steps as well. But this step is where brand building really takes a departure from marketing, because marketing is all about the product, it's all about selling a specific offer. But your brand is the heart and soul of your business. It's the container that allows you to continue to grow even when you're launching new product lines or new services. It allows you to evolve because it becomes this larger umbrella, this larger mission for the work that you're doing. So innate advantage is the second part of the Clarity Code process framework. Third step of this framework is a process that I like to call Offer Doctor. And I read in a book, I think it's, I'll put the book into the comments of this video, but I read once where it said, if you want to build an irresistible brand, you need to sell an irresistible product. I think there's some truth to this, right? We can't sell nothing. There has to be some value exchange, right? So for us to expect our ideal clients or customers to part with their hard-earned money, we are improving their lives in some way that they understand and that they desire. So going through the Offer Doctor process is making sure that we're matching up what we're offering to what people already want. Because you don't ever want to be in the position of trying to convert people over to your brand or to convince them of your value. It's more about compelling them and attracting them. So that Offer Doctor process blends those two things. What does the market want? What do I want to sell? How can we communicate that in a way that makes people sit up and pay attention and whip out their wallet with reckless abandon? So the fourth step in the Clarity Code process is what I call brand gravity. And brand gravity is this concept that we need to create an entire ecosystem, a body of work, a gravitational pull that is going to attract people to our brand in the first place, but then it's also going to entice them to stick around. This is a relatively new addition to brand building because in the past, say in the 1950s, you could just put out an attraction mechanism. So like a commercial on TV, reach the masses, people would, I don't know, however they used to buy things back then, they would call and send a check or whatever the situation was. It was more transactional and more straightforward. These days, brands become this entire lifestyle that people become attracted to. We build our identities by the brands that we build. So if you are into extreme sports, chances are you pay attention to Red Bull, even if you don't drink the stuff, because they have embedded themselves into that lifestyle, and they are prolific creators of content that keeps people in their orbit, in their ecosystem. So you as a brand, no matter how big or small you are, need to create your own ecosystem. And the more that you grow your gravity, the more objects, aka potential ideal clients, are going to get invited into your world, and they're going to stick around because there's always more things to pay attention to. So it's creating this whole system of, we have the irresistible offer in the center. That's like the planet. That's the thing that's going to convert people from a lead to a sale. But then we have all of the content that surrounds that offer. And then we have some attraction mechanisms that are bringing people into our content in the first place. So you're going to attract, nurture, and convert your ideal clients. And then finally, the fifth part of this framework is how to move forward. Like, what is the actual plan to implement your energetic influence, your innate advantage, your irresistible offer, and your brand gravity? What are you going to be doing on a daily, weekly, and quarterly basis to grow and expand your brand? What is the future that you're living into? So I call this phase the brand future, and it's all about moving from planning and strategizing into action and implementation. So think about all of these stages. Are any of them missing in your brand? Do some of them need more work? Do some of them need more clarity? If so, I would love to invite you to a week-long brand building sprint that I am calling Clarity Week. It is the lowest investment that I've ever offered for an incredible amount of value. I am going to be teaching 5 in-depth trainings on each of these sections that we talked about here in this video. There's going to be question and answer sessions, bonus resources, and an assessment at the end that is going to help you self-diagnose and get advice about how to implement everything that you've decided, defined, and clarified in your brand up to that point. Meaning, I'm going to give you advice based on your particular stage of brand building, not for somebody that's at either a stage that's ahead of you or a stage that's behind you, to help you get this all into action and, in the end, grow your audience, grow your revenue, sell more of your product or service, and serve the people that you're meant to serve in this world. I'm so excited for this week-long container because we are going to build some incredible brands together. Check out Clarity Week and join me there. I will see you inside.